All right, should we dive in?
Let's dive in. Hey, guys, and otherwise. This is Jonathan O. Roselion.
No, that's not gonna go.
Okay, but I'm gonna do it every time. Let's dive in. Hey, guys, and otherwise. This is Jonathan O. Roselion.
And I'm Noah, also known as Polyphonic, and you're listening to Horns and Wings, the podcast where we dive into Saga issue by issue.
Just let's dive in. We're talking about issue number 13, and you know what? We're gonna mix it up a bit today by actually talking about a goddamn issue of this fucking comic book for once.
Wait, how do you do that? I forgot.
I never knew. So anyway, let's dive in.
This is exciting. Start of the third arc.
Yeah. And it's been 3 weeks since we did just a straightforward classic H&W.
That was the plan all along. 3 weeks, third arc. Expect a month between the end of the next arc.
We did. This is a slight update. Is the previews for December came out for comics, upcoming comics, and guess what was in the previews? Noah. Literally not Saga.
What was it?
Everything but Saga. I have no idea what's in there. It's just it is confirmation that we will not be getting new Saga until 2020, which is horrifying and sad and great for the podcast. We got plenty of time.
What's horrifying and sad is the fact that 2020 is like 90 days away.
Oh, don't do that.
Like not just next year, like the year 2020, next decade, the 20s. We're about to enter the roaring 20s. That's fucked. I should definitely, this is completely unrelated, but the first video I release of 2020 should definitely be on the 2020 Experience by Justin Timberlake.
I've been holding on to a video to do for a while now, but I'm holding out for 2112 and I'm just trying to get there.
Yeah.
I should Mark Twain autobiography, make make a video to specifically come out on 2112, like a good 80 years in advance.
I think that's actually a phenomenal idea, because that's like for people that'll be like your regular release schedule. Like I feel like I get a video of yours every 80 years or so it's fitting.
This is 3 videos from now.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, we should totally do. I want to say, boy, tangent immediately. John Malkovich did a movie that's not going to come out for 100 years or something. Was a thing that I heard about years ago. But I think we should do like a Wu-Tang album sort of thing where we just make a bunch of videos that just we give them to one person and let them decide if it's going to be released to the public or not. And make sure it's Martin Shkreli. Was it Martin Shkreli that got the Wu-Tang out? What a piece of shit that guy is.
Yeah, we should. That would actually be a really cool project, is to get a bunch of creators together and do a time capsule of video that's not to be seen publicly for another 100 years. But then YouTube will die and it'll just get forgotten. So
fingers crossed.
We're really on a hot start to this podcast.
Coming in fucking blazing.
It does sound like we're going in blazing right now.
Especially with the cough that I'll add in right here, actually. Oh, there we go. There's a little bonus for you.
Yeah, I gave you an organic one.
It is actually, speaking of organic, it is an organic time to bring up that, boy, that was a transition, that we actually did record some time capsule episodes of this, and so we are now on issue 50. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We already did so much work. We did all the editing. We got all the work in, and now we're just about caught up. So We'll look for those eventually in the time capsule. But for now, we're just gonna skip to we've done all of them, and we're doing 50 now. No, I care too much about the audience.
You hear that? We care about you. I'm talking to you through your headphones right now, person to person. We're having a raw, real, human experience right
go ahead,
now.
take my headphones off. Give me space.
No, seriously though, what the fuck are we doing?
Hey,
should we just start over?
Yes, issue 1, please. No, what's the cover of this thing, Noah?
All right, the cover of this thing is it's really beautiful. It is D. Oswald Heist, the Cyclops man, staring at the baby Hazel. And there's the lighthouse in the background, and it's just a very kind of like warm, friendly cover, which is sometimes a rarity for Saga.
Yeah, it's actually very fitting for the autumnal season we're getting into. We're getting a lot of muted, nice brownish tones. It's very cozy. It's very relaxing, which is very quietus. And unlike anything we've seen from the covers so far, we mentioned this in the Between the Arcs when we were ranking all the covers, but it is a very sharp turn from all the vibrant, solid colors we usually get, and I appreciate it.
I think an interesting thing to note here, and I don't know what the decision of this is, but it seems to work, is that the lighthouse isn't actually centered. Like you'd think the lighthouse would be centered in the picture, but it clearly is not, which I think is an interesting decision to remark.
I actually would like to see this because I don't know about you, but I'm looking at it through the trade paperback where it doesn't have the title. I want to see where that light ends up with the title on there.
Yeah.
I should have affected that.
Let me see. Saga issue 13.
I should look this up too because I want to see what color the title is.
The title is a beige that's kind of a little lighter than the background, and the light goes up just kind of where the stem and the circle of the A meet. This is riveting radio. This is just straight gripping.
That's interesting. Like I feel like that doesn't even explain that botched my theory because I feel like that it actually might have looked better if it was centered in terms of the title placement, but hey, what do I know? So yeah, that's what we're going for, a nice chill, cozy issue here.
This is ASMR Saga with John and Noah.
Here, and then I'm gonna do just some really nice ASMR for people here. I cut to your coughing again. It's really upsetting for everyone.
So do you wanna take the first scene or should I?
That's entirely up to you. I usually plot out which scene I want to do and then decide that based upon this, but I did not think to do that. So, your choice, man.
I'll open up here. Why not?
All right.
So we open our opening splash again, kind of going with the cover. The opening splash is one of the less dynamic opening splashes.
Yeah.
We see an exterior shot of the Landfallian Army Medical Center. Then we get a series of shots of the inside, a bunch of people that appear to be veterans lined up next to a desk, and we kind of move down the hallway and cut into a room where we've got a patient without a hand saying that Alana is a traitor to the planet, and he's being asked questions by a mysterious green voice off screen, or blue-green, turquoise voice.
I'd say green.
Yeah. And so basically the green voice is asking about the encounter that we saw way back in I want to say like issue 5 maybe. But anyways, about a bunch of winged soldiers encountering Marco and Alana, maybe even earlier than that. But anyways, and Marco going fucking bonkers when they threaten Alana. and he says that they had a baby. He says that when he told the intelligence guys that, they laughed in his face, and he tried telling someone from the press, but they were no better. They said he should call the tabloids. And then we flip and we get a splash page of the tabloids. Our mysterious green voice saying, "And we're very glad you did that," is a very well-dressed amphibian person who is tall and slim, and his more stout green amphibian person companion who is holding a camera that has an eyeball in the place of the lens.
Which I always miss, but that's such a
I love
good
it.
detail.
It's so good. Yeah, so I'm going to spoil this here. We just met Upshur and Doff.
Yes, which is, if we see them again, they might be rad. Who knows?
Yeah, I love it when they give splash page introductions to characters and then never show them again.
Never again.
I mean, I guess the times suck, but
There you go. So yeah, this is here. I'm gonna run a theory past you, and this is sort of just my interpretation. But let me know your thoughts on this one. Because we get sort of, it's almost like a thought balloon bubble for is that Upshur or Doff? Now I can't remember.
I think it's Upshur. I just always could say them as Upshur and Doff, so I'm not the authority on this.
But let's say Upshur. We get this sort of thought balloon.
Yes, it is Upshur.
Okay.
I've confirmed.
Okay. But we get this thought balloon dialogue that it can clearly be heard by the guy, the one-handed man. And I just realized, which is great, we acknowledged, because that is issue 5, we acknowledged that Alana says if we're in 20 years, if we're attacked by a one-handed man.
Oh yeah,
that it's gonna be like it. She references a one-handed man, and this is in a way him getting his revenge or affecting their lives in some capacity.
Yeah, that's very true.
And so, but I'm interested to see if we see him again. But again, not something I've ever noticed. But he does make an appearance again, but also I think. My headcanon for this is that since they are sort of like underwater amphibious aliens, that it might be some sort of telepathy that they're communicating through, thus the thought bubble balloons.
But the thing is, the balloon comes from, we've got the arrow coming from his mouth in the splash.
Yeah, but even then, well, here, because it's clearly supposed to be interpreted in some alien way, and it's supposed to be, because it's like it's its own color, and also it's its own.
I think I might know what the question of the week is this week.
Oh shit! But yeah, no, that's what like the fact that it's that sort of cloudy balloon, the bubbly balloon, but it's still like having an arrow. That is what is making me assume that it's like some sort of telepathy, because they're, or sonar somehow, I don't know, because they are apparently underwater creatures. That is some sort of evolutionary thing of theirs, because they are the only ones that talk like this.
I'm going to tell you right now, that's a terrible theory.
Okay. And go ahead and sound off in the comments, and thank you for agreeing with me.
Yeah, I actually have no idea, and I don't really have a specific voice in my head for this, but I do think it's interesting, the use of color, because the other place that we get color in our speech bubbles is blue, right? Is when they're casting magic or speaking the language.
There's one more. Can you think of it? Where we get
not
color?
Offhand. Does Lion Cat get color?
No, it's Isabel, because she's a goat.
True. Yeah.
Which, honestly, I'm all for, just in terms of clarity in comics. Actually, the last comic I did, or the one before the last comic I did, called Specs, it's a short little comic that I did with Jessica Mao, we, out of necessity, did colored balloons for each character that are like the color goes with each character, and just to make it a little easier to read when they're off panel but still talking to each other. And I kind of just like, it's something that, again, raising these questions that don't even need answered is just this like thing where no matter what the origin or reason is for it, you just immediately know it's alien. It has some kind of weird quality, distinct quality to it, and it is like there's just, you now associate it with a specific species, which is always nice for reading purposes.
Yeah, the coloring it the same as the character design is a really like simple trick, but it's a really useful one, I think.
Yeah, it is kind of just like that. It's a green that's like right in the middle of Upsher's sort of aquamarine and Doff's forest green. I love it.
Yeah, and I think there's not too much to this scene. The little winged rat flying through the halls is fantastic.
I do want to take some time to appreciate, because this is the first time we're seeing landfall.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna say too. I like how kind of mundane and earthly it seems, like the kind of the like cheesy propaganda posters, but they're on a bulletin board, and just like people waiting in line for the reception. One of the people happens to be a bear, but
yep. I love it.
But it just feels very much like a kind of like hospital you might go to in Canada, or maybe in the States. I don't know what your dystopian healthcare system is like.
This splash, the first thing it reminded me of was Toronto, with just the nothing but cement and glass. Which again says a lot about the species being like, technological and practical and not necessarily in tune with nature at all. There is specifically like, we get a fountain, and that is all the nature we get in this shot.
And the fountain is depicting like a very heroic soldier carrying a torch. Like it shows the kind of propagandistic nature of it.
Yeah, and I love that. That's that, and then directly in front of it is clearly like a homeless veteran.
Yeah, pushing a shopping cart.
Yeah.
I also think it's neat that the heroic statue is framed by wreath in the sky.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't realize that. And then just stuff like, I love that everything has wings. They have one of the winged horses, and they have just a rat with wings.
Yeah.
But the one-handed man does not seem to have wings. I can't especially tell.
I think they might just be like under his robe or behind his back, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a weird thing because I'm sure there are humans, like they have different species working with different sides. So that would be interesting if this sort of like is confirmation that the Will's species, human adjacent or whatever, is like sided with landfall. But yeah, there's cool little world building details that I appreciate in this, and we get the return of the one-armed man, which is a nice little callback.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's good for this scene.
All right. Well, then let's get to some catching up with the fam, which is and it starts out with the voiceover from Hazel. Right. Where were we? And we see the rocket ship tree flying past one of the coolest things, which we will dissect in a bit, which is multiple suns with, it seems like, solar panels like encompassing them, making a sphere around them.
This planet is just gorgeous. Or these Dyson spheres maybe is what they are. But
that seems like, but they're referred to, Hazel says, we're cutting across the clockwork stars on our way to, and that gives me some theories, on our way to a fog-shrouded world. My parents were hoping to find a man named D. Oswald Heist, author of their favorite book. I had just shit myself. So we get a nice thank you for doing the summary, the catching up for us.
This page, before we go into the rest of the summary, this page is peak Saga. We have this brilliant world hinted at that we will not explore any further yet, or if at all,
Yeah.
the Clockwork Stars, and we have the narrator shitting themselves.
And then we get, so it's Hazel crying, and then we see Alana wake up. Boy, do I know that feeling. In the middle of the night. This is my life right now. And hearing the baby crying, it says, "Fuck no, please." And then
Worth noting that this is your life right now because of a dog, not a baby.
it's the same thing. It's identical, Noah. But it was a sick dog, so it's sadder. If anything, it's more responsibility, and deserves more sympathy. Alana wakes up, realizes that Marco's out of bed, and Paranormal Activity style is just sort of standing, staring into space
It's
beside
creepy
the
as hell.
bed. And we see he has a beard, and he has massive bags under his eyes. And yeah, he's just sort of, you might say, lost in space. And I'm gonna cut that out, don't worry. And so Alana puts on her nightgown. She says, "I miss him too," in reference to Bar. So we see that we've gone back in time a bit. We're ahead of that time jump from last issue. And Alana goes to check on Hazel and sees that Clara is holding Hazel, calming Hazel down, and is wearing a veil. But it's not all black. It's like this burgundy, which is interesting. And we see that Clara hasn't slept because she's been reading the what she describes as donkey shit that Alana fed to her son, which is the Nighttime Smoke book. She thinks it's bullshit. She thinks it is sophomoric claptrap, not a sacred text. And Alana just explains that, she says, "I want to do whatever's best for Hazel. Marco and I think Mr. Heist can tell us what that is." So that is, again, their goal here. And Alana says that Clara can stay behind, but Clara says that she's done outliving. She's had enough outliving. And so if they're gonna get killed, she's gonna get killed. So she's gonna tag along. And that's the end of that scene.
That I've done more than enough outliving is such a good line.
Yeah, this is I like how, again, we're getting just not the straight up obvious, like, every little detail gives us a little more unique fleshing out of the world. It's not even necessarily saying anything, but just the fact that she's not wearing black, but she's wearing this cool sort of burgundy and green get up, but it still very much translates as in mourning, is really effective.
I also just think this is really interesting. Like, it's to start off an arc, especially having left off, if you think of where we left off with so much drama, it's a really kind of slow, patient burn for our first scene of these characters after, like we saw them in this intense situation, and before that we saw, like, Bar dying, and now it's just kind of this, like, atmospheric, very quiet scene, not a lot of talking, a lot of kind of big open shots. It's phenomenal how, especially in the first 2 pages of this scene, how Fiona Staples makes the spaceship feel kind of like vast and lonely. Like, you can almost hear Alana's steps echoing through it.
Yeah, and it's a lot colder than usual.
Yeah, exactly. Like, usually it's this warm, cozy place, and then when we get to Clara and Hazel, we see this kind of little nook with the bioluminescence and stuff again.
Yeah. And yeah, actually, the scenes so far remind me a lot of, like, just a good season premiere. Not like a series premiere, but just like there's been an obvious time jump. We're setting up some of the threads, introducing some new characters through a cold open,
and even debuting a new look for Marco.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, we're gonna throw you into it with time having passed, and you're just sort of catching up a bit. And yeah, I like that pacing. I think it makes sense for this is definitely very conscious. That is the first book in a new volume for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the characterization of Clara here is phenomenal. Just if you three are gonna get yourselves killed, I might as well tag along. I've done more than enough outliving. Like that says so much about who she is and how she sees the world, and that she's like clearly still sad and hurt and in mourning, but she's still this just like fierce woman who's really just like not gonna take shit from anyone.
Yeah, and also I really appreciate that it's not just the there's a bit more nuance to her and Alana's dynamic instead of just the ugh, my in-laws, am I right? Like just this hatred towards each other or anything. Like Alana actually makes an effort to reason with her and to not be like sort of not to engage or anything, and is very patient. And Clara is just sort of is still clearly cares about, I guess not necessarily Alana, but is invested in all of their well-being. And yeah, it's again not a two-dimensional thing when the obvious thing to do is a very two-dimensional thing there. But can we please talk about the clockwork stars, because I think it is super rad.
This whole scene is that it's actually kind of bookended by a pair of beautiful space shots, because something I didn't really notice until this read through on the last one is the shot of Quietus in the background too, with like the cloud with the lights coming out. And what's you said you had some thoughts on the clockwork stars.
So I mean so we see three of them, and the middle one is like black with, it still has, because like I said, it's sort of those what is it with six sides when it has six sides?
Hexagon. Hexagon.
There you go.
Civilization 5.
There you go.
Settlers of Catan.
And so we see these, it's covered in these hexagons that seem like little like solar plates. And the middle star is black, but it still has the solar flares sort of sneaking out between the plates. And so what this one image makes me assume, plus the name Clockwork Stars, is that they've created this technology to turn off stars at certain times and turn them back on when they want to control the day cycles or whatever they want to do. But literally just, again, talk about fucking awesome and totally inconsequential world building, at least so far.
Just my favorite phrase, implied world building.
Yeah, where it's literally just like, show this cool thing, give it a name, nothing else. And it's like my brain is immediately like, oh, here's what civilization might want to do with this technology or abuse with it. And it is super fascinating and such a cool little, it's just a cool little treat. I noticed in this one a lot, they're really firing on all cylinders for just fun, inventive, tiny little details that I appreciate.
I think that's another kind of a transition to the next scene where we get another just gorgeous, stunning planet.
Yes. Dive on in.
So we transition with Hazel's narration. Granny was right to worry, and we see Prince Robot 4 sitting in the dragon ship flying by a planet. Hazel tells us that this is Prince Robot 4 as we get a wide shot of the dragon ship with an actual arrow. We'll talk about that later. And others were just taking a more scenic route, and we point to that planet where we cut to the Will's face, who appears to be on hold or talking to customer support, and just frustrated out of his mind. Your name again, the Will, as in losing mind to live, which is just such a relatable moment. Meanwhile, Slave Girl is looking up to the skies, and Gwendolyn asks if she's getting anything from the rings, but Slave Girl says, "I can't hear too good since the accident." In case you forget, where we last left them off was the time suck cut their ship in half, and everyone almost died, and then they were brought back in, and then the Slave Girl kind of said that she could hear. Oh wait, no, she had already said she could hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just like brought back in, and that's kind of where we left off. Hey,
Them blasting off, trying not to die.
yes, exactly. And then Gwendolyn says that she'll find a healing spell for Slave Girl as soon as they get off this rock. To which Lion Cat kind of growls, and Gwendolyn says she promises, which begs a whole bunch of questions about Lion Cat. And then the Will comes over, says he wants some firewood, and the Will and Gwendolyn kind of start fighting a little, like just bickering, I guess, not really fighting. And the Will says that the repairmen haven't shown up because he's out of their same day coverage zone. And it kind of escalates, and it looks like he's gonna punch Gwendolyn, and then Slave Girl tugs at his coat and says, no hitting, that's one of the rules. And the Will storms off with a muttering of woman. Or women, as people say. People say I say woman wrong.
Only because you do. So yeah, this is a fun little update scene. And really quick, I do have I'm just brimming with theories this episode. But the one thing just logistically that's been bothering me a bit is, and I'd never actually care about this stuff, but it just kind of stuck out to me because everything is so perfectly done in this series, and it's the fact that Prince Robot takes so long to get to Quietus compared to the rocket ship tree, especially since he's been heading straight there since Volume 1, and they still, despite all the time suck and all that nonsense and getting sidetracked on the planet with Fard and everything, they still get there a week before him. This is my theory, Noah.
Okay, let's hear this.
Rocket ship tree. It's very scientific.
Is faster than the dragon skull.
No, the rocket ship tree is more equipped for traveling long distances. I think that the dragon skull ship is like a speedy, short little bursts kind of ship. But a rocket ship versus some kind of transport spaceship. I think, especially since.
Yeah.
I think that the rocket ship tree doesn't have to stop for fuel, and I think that also explains why it's flying so close to the clockwork stars, is because photosynthesis is how it can travel.
Oh,
and
you
so
are
I'm
just
thinking,
you're like that one GIF from It's Always Sunny right now.
but yeah, I think that that is made for long distance travel, and that I'm guessing that Prince Robot has to sort of like hopscotch from planet to planet to refuel this inefficient skull ship.
And yeah, that checks out.
So yeah, that's my theory.
As he's hopping by this planet, something that I thought was super cool that I want to draw attention to is the way that there's almost a fourth wall break with Hazel's narration, using the arrows, like pointing at the dragon skull ship and pointing on the planet. There's an arrow with her narration, which is just like really interesting because it kind of challenges you. You almost always kind of read the narrator as this like disembodied voice, but it's almost reminding you that this is like this is narration text on a comic.
Yeah, and it's also like, in that way it is sort of intrinsically fourth wall breaking because they're talking to us specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
And also I love that, honestly, the thing that makes this work for me and doesn't break me out of it too much is the fact that her voiceover is already handwritten.
Yeah, I agree completely.
And so that we get this handwritten arrow makes it work. But that's something that it definitely brings into question what the hell this narration is.
Yeah.
Last week in 7 episode, we did the live Q&A, and someone brought up the idea that this is all the narration is Hazel's book that she's writing, and that she becomes a writer, which would be very poetic, especially with the whole I use it as a bookmark thing and the D. Oswald heist connection and all that stuff. But this kind of fucks with that a little bit.
Yeah,
But still, I think it's very much in the same tone.
yeah.
And we always get those cheeky little stare into camera kind of meta moments that always take place in this realm of voiceover and never really in the story itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely it's a reminder of kind of the omniscience of voiceover, but I think it works in a really kind of cheeky, clever way. I also just need to repeat like how amazing it is that there is just like a scene of the Will on the phone with customer service and it being like the worst thing he's experienced in the comic so far.
The most frustrated we've seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I love that panel. I love this introduction to the environment of that lighting on him, that backlighting, which we haven't really seen a ton in this comic so far. Things are usually pretty flatly lit, or like you get some dramatic lighting, some lighting from above, but just the way that backlighting draws the eye to the tropical planet they're now on, and that contrast of colors.
The planet is gorgeous. Just another can I build a retirement home here situation.
I'd like to stay here forever and ever and ever. That's just me.
Yeah. I think kind of a growing theme that's phenomenal in Saga, and why I love this scene so much is just it really has an amazing ability to juxtapose the ordinary and the fantastical, and by doing that it makes the ordinary fantastical and it makes the fantastical ordinary, and
right.
it's just such a unique thing that they do.
Hey, I just noticed something. I'm gonna blow your mind right now. You ready for this?
Is this another Charlie theory?
No. This is. I'm sure I could build one off of this, but this is something I just noticed. The panel right under the one I was just referencing, the second panel on the page. Look over just slightly left of Slave Girl's head, and what do you see in the background there?
A mountain.
But hold on. Over her head, we see this. It looks like, unless I'm interpreting this wrong, it looks like an overgrown building to me, down to the windows. It's specifically the window shapes that are making me think this is an overgrown building in the background.
I could see that.
Tune in and just sound off in the comments what you think. But I think that is a little too geometric. I think it blends in, but I think that there's just a little hint of some ruins on this planet.
Once again, I'm not entirely sure you're right, but I think that's a really cool reading of that, and I've got time for it. I've got more time for that than some of your other theories.
Yeah. No, you're it could be a mountain with windows. That's probably it. Actually, now that I think of it, what I said was dumb. Mountain with windows. That makes a lot more sense to me. So I'm glad we can move on.
Yeah,
from that.
No, it's just the lighting on the mountain.
It's just
all right
from the outer space windows. But let's go ahead and we good for the next scene?
Yeah, I think we are. This next scene looks like Vancouver.
We get to the foggy beach of Quietus here, with some great parallel voiceover to action, which is the voiceover says, Quietus was the first place my family ever laid down roots.
I missed that. I missed that completely.
And then it is the rocket ship tree landing and its roots literally digging into the ground, which is also just
which is
really
so cool.
thing.
Yeah.
And then we get, I'm going to be a little broader with this description because this is a big scene. And this is the scene that if I had plotted out which scene I wanted to read, it would have been this one because it's fucking great. So we see that Isabel goes out first to see if the planet's safe. And it sort of is, except that the ground is just covered in skeletons. Marco asks if it's a mass grave, and Alana points out that it looks more like an ancient battlefield. Picks up this dusty old
mace.
What do you call that thing? Mace.
That's a mace, yeah.
Spiked mace. And then we get Clara bending down to check out. Actually, what I'm just noticing is a Cyclops skull.
Oh yeah.
And we get a little herna sound effect from it. And it's clearly making some kind of noise. It's slightly moving, and Clara places up to her ear.
I like how you said you were gonna speed up this. You're gonna speed up this one, and now you're just doing panel by panel, clear description.
Trust me, I would reenact this scene if I could. This is so broad for me. It bites her ear. The skull bites her ear when she holds it up to it. She screams. And then all the skulls start shaking and coming to life. And Isabel says, what is my favorite exposition ever? It's not haunted, it's bone bugs. They reanimate marrow or some shit. Which is all we would ever need. And then all the herna bones and skulls and everything creates, it looks like a bone saber-tooth tiger sort of thing. And it's fucking rad.
Yep.
And Alana, with Hazel under her arm, takes the mace and just smashes the thing in the face. Marco gets very scared for Alana, and it screams out for her. Meanwhile, accidentally ripping the skull away from Clara's head and taking her left ear with it. So we have some permanent damage here, and Alana just kicks this skull thing's ass, but once Marco starts running in to help her, we get a kabang and a implied gunshot as the last of the skull blows up, and we get the voiceover. Over the years, we've met every kind of person imaginable. And then we get a shot of their introduction at least, to D. Oswald Heist. And he says, you stupid cunts here to take back my advance. And he is drunk and in his underwear and holding the gun that we saw last issue, actually. And then the voiceover says, but no one makes worse first impressions than writers. And so we get our cool little... This is I love this scene so much. It is so it's so adventure-y, it's so fun.
It's really interesting just kind of how it's inserted narrative wise, because it's clearly an action set piece that needs to be there because otherwise this is a really slow issue. Mm-hmm. But it's such a compelling action set piece that I have so much time for it. I'm totally here for it, right? Like bone bugs reanimating bones into giant things. So Alana with a big ass mace just like smacking the shit out of this thing while holding Hazel in her other hand.
Yeah. No, it is. And I love, like I said before, just sprinkled in so many just creative little world building things, and bone bugs is one of the cooler things we've seen in this series. And even down to the little herna that they say, that kind of reminds me of just like I'm a skeleton and I talk like that chompy no lips, like just classic dumb skeleton cartoon. Oh my gosh, but it's such a fun
I need to make
scene.
a Saga Doot meme.
Do you? No,
think I
no,
do.
hold on. No. Let's think about this. Do you?
I think I do.
Hold on. Take Saga out of the equation. Just any Doot meme. Do you?
I mean, as we're recording this, tomorrow is October.
You're not convincing me here, no.
I need to. Okay, I'll make the meme, and that'll convince you.
Okay,
I'll
check
make
back
the
in
meme,
next
and you can animate it in 3D as the artwork for.
Oh god.
I have a question for you, John.
Oh god, another one of Noah's crackpot theories. Here we go.
What does Marco say here? In blue.
Oh, where does he say something in? Oh, he does say something in blue. Well, you go ahead and do your thing. I'm gonna see if I still have this page open on my phone.
All right.
Here we go.
So a couple other things that I want to take note of. Just a couple general badass things here. Alana is amazing. The look on her face as she picks up the giant mace is not even like fear. It's just like exhaustion that the baby crying kept me up all night and now I need to deal with this shit. And then I love, just again, small details when Isabel is calling out like telling Alana to check her right. The bone bug monster is trying to grab Isabel, but it's going right through her because she's non-corporeal, which is really like little details like that aren't really necessary. Like you could have just had her shouting that.
No, but yeah, it's just an added cool little action beat.
Yeah. And I think something that's really cool is the use of diagonal lines in the panels in these action scenes. The panels are not square. They're kind of like weird off-kilter diagonal, and it just like it almost feels like the unsteady ground of this mass of bones moving below you. And it really helps you understand the action of the scene. And also, just speaking of action, my last thought on this, it's really interesting to see the action on the bottom panel when Alana is smashing the thing in the face with her mace. The action is actually moving right to left, which is something you seldom see in comics.
Yeah, I think for me, it kind of has this. It reverses the eye line to where it slows down time a bit, where you get this like nice hold on the. Again, I'll shout out once again, New Frame Plus, which is a YouTube channel about game animation that my friend runs, and it does this. They always talk about these held frames, where it's just like if you really want something to register, doesn't matter how realistic or unrealistic it is, it will always resonate a bit more if a character can hold a pose for like 4 or 5 frames. And this is kind of, it's causing that effect where, you know, you're not just reading through it very quickly because it's not that left to right. It actually stops you a bit and makes that impact a little harder, which is really fucking interesting.
Yeah, I think it really definitely feels like the slow-mo, and you can almost feel the twisting motion of her as she's swinging the mace across her body.
Yeah. Hey,
so
I got it. Yep. So this is when Marco is first trying to pull the skull off of Clara's ear, and this is actually really interesting because it seems to be incorrect. The translation, like how it is spelled, it seems to be a typo in the comic.
Oh yeah.
Because there's the word. It's like I'm not even gonna attempt to say it, but there's the word ankuau, something like that.
Yeah.
And if you take out the U in that, then it says, "I will not lose you too." So that seems to be the typo because that's a nonsense word otherwise.
Huh.
So he's saying, "I will not lose you too," which makes sense and is a nice little added thing. And I like that he says it in blue almost as like, it's his first language. That's his instinctual.
Yeah.
His, like,
just
his
the gut
first
reaction.
Yep. But also he just doesn't know how to speak his own language, apparently.
That's a very emotional moment for him to say that.
I actually have a theory about this typo. So the magical effects on the rocket ship tree. Yeah, I don't know. No one speaks fucking Esperanto.
Also, can we talk about I didn't even really notice this, the bone bug that comes up behind Marco, the creepy ass fucking snake that D. Oswald Heist blows apart.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a centipede snake skull thing.
It's so creepy, and it is 100% going to be doing the doot soon.
God damn it. I don't approve at all. You're going rogue from the podcast now. So yeah, and also just a great introduction to D. Oswald Heist. Another great introduction to D. Oswald Heist.
Yeah.
And it is very much in opposition of how we saw him before. So that makes you wonder what the fuck has happened in a week.
I think that's what's really compelling about it is like your image of him is this like super well composed like brilliant author and radical pacifist after the next one, after the last issue. And then you see him literally with pee in his underwear.
Yeah, in shooting that gun that he said he'd never shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, that too.
Even though it is against dead things, but still.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got that's such a fun scene. That's such a good scene. It's a fantastic one.
Should we reel it into?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So again, our Hazel transition, but no one makes worse first impressions than writers. Okay, almost no one. And we see the Will sitting by the campfire, skewering a big old beetle on a rotisserie, and looking at a picture and smoking a cigarette joint. Who knows?
Say joint on that one.
Yeah. And the picture he's looking at is a picture of himself and the stalk, and he's got hair, which is kind of offensive to me. I prefer him as one of our balding legions. No, but yeah, he's got hair and he looks happy and handsome, and the stalk looks happy and creepy. And then we hear a voice from off screen, off panel, that says, "Wow, I forgot how stupid you looked with hair." Oh, and it's our old friend, the stalk.
Just die already. Yeesh.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a joint because the response to seeing her, the Will says, "I ain't that high. So what are you, a succubus?" And the stalk basically says, "She's your friend, just coming back to warn you to get out of the game or you will die, just like me." The Will says the stalk would never say that. The stalk would not let me quit until I avenged her. And the hallucinogenic or succubus or whatever this stalk is says, you should settle down with Gwen, maybe adopt Slave Girl, get around to giving the poor kid an actual name someday. She said the sexual tension between you two got boring 3-star systems ago about the Will and Gwendolyn. And he starts yelling, and then we cut out as Gwendolyn comes out to see that he is yelling at nothing. Gwen says, "Great, well, you woke up Slave Girl." And then the Will says that's not her name, and we fucking finally get to the point where I'm allowed to start calling her Sophie and not tripping up anytime I try to call her Slave Girl.
Yeah.
We end on a splash of the Will with the stars behind him kind of looking out and saying, "Now on, we're calling her Sophie."
Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, anyone that gets this reference is my kind of people, but this whole scene is very Outer Wilds for anyone who's been checking out that video game.
Apparently, I'm not your kind of people, so I don't know what that means.
You doot fuck. I didn't want nothing to do with you. But oh my god.
You doot fuck. I want nothing to do with you.
Episode title. So no, just the how many fucking times I've had to cut you saying Sophie out of this goddamn podcast is extensive. So finally.
Yeah. Now you'll just need to cut me saying Doot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but it's again staying with that sort of other than that last scene, we have some just nice little building character moments. But we end with just an oddly nice and interesting little reveal of, for whatever reason, we're gonna call Slave Girl Sophie. Now,
I wonder if we'll find that out someday.
I don't know. Certainly, I'll never have to cut that name out of this podcast again, and you'll be fucking smart about it.
I think I think it's really interesting to see also, like, an important part of this is like what's going on with the Will seeing the stalk. Is he hallucinating? Mm-hmm. Is he crazy? Like, because it's not even like this is just him thinking. Like, we see him physically looking out and pointing at the stalk. So I think that's an interesting kind of place to leave the issue without really addressing that.
Yeah. Because we all know it's that reefer madness, though.
Yes. Well, that's why you don't touch the reefer.
That's why. Not even one marijuana cigarette.
We know that he dreams about her, so I think that's an interesting kind of position to set us up, and maybe we'll find out more in an issue or two. Maybe, who knows?
And we get Steve Rogers, the Will, with this hair. It turns out he's just gone through his own Tyler Durden phase, like all macho men do. But yeah, no, I had a blast with this one. Do you have a favorite moment? So far in this?
My favorite moment is not having to call Slave Girl anymore. Because
mine too.
I like calling her Sophie, and also I just feel really fucking weird calling someone Slave Girl.
Right.
But actually, my favorite moment is probably actually the Clockwork Stars. They're just. Sorry to steal that from you.
How dare you? Oh, no, I'm happy that you stole my thing, and we already gushed a lot about how great that one scene is. So I'm gonna go back and point out something that I forgot to mention in an earlier scene as my favorite moment, which is the Will saying to Gwendolyn, "Listen good, short pants."
Oh my God, I forgot to point that out too.
Which is there is no scenario on this green and blue planet Earth that Harrison Ford has not said, "Listen good, short pants," at least 3 times in his life. It is, which again evoking, because obviously there is distinct Harrison Ford influences on this character, and just that sort of archetype that it is. I like when we get that very distinctly the Will dialogue and his just sort of comedic fuck yous to people. But yeah, that's gonna be my favorite. Hey, do you have a song? Put you on the spot. Do you have a song?
Do I have a song? Not offhand actually. Oh wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Wait a minute. I gotta actually, I'm gonna play you a clip of this song. One second.
Right. We can no longer monetize this podcast.
Oh crap. Do you know what this is?
Yeah, I know what it is, Noah.
Okay, let's just skip to the good part. How long does this song take to get to the... Here we go.
I'd be very lying if I did say this was the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay, that's we can cut all of that.
Throw it on the playlist. Nope, we're keeping it in. I want everyone to hate you as much as I hate you.
My song is Spooky Scary Skeletons.
Spooky Scary Skeletons, which, go ahead, add that to the fucking garbage playlist, which someone has been making a playlist. I forgot to post that on the Twitter, but it is in the Discord right now. And I went with the much better because I was like, I could suggest this, but also I don't want to do that to people. But I did go with Rattlin' Bones by, I specifically like the Preservation Hall Jazz Band version of that. So go ahead and add that to the playlist too. But we went with the same dumb, easy joke for both of them. And they're very much in the spirit of the season.
Actually, though, if you want to listen to something that kind of... the scene of cutting past the Clockwork Stars... And maybe this makes me think of this because it's from an album called Clockwork Angels. Mm-hmm. But Headlong Flight by Rush. It's just this kind of like... It's actually like steampunk, but it's kind of just this like big kind of adventure song that just feels like flying through space on an adventure. It's got the line "steer the airship right across the stars," which is what that shot makes me think of.
There we go. You gotta squeeze in another one, and gotta remind everyone that you are in fact Canadian. So we, you know,
I believe you're the one that made a Rush joke earlier.
Never. Who, me?
I don't know if that's in this podcast. It might have been in our conversation before, so I hope it's not, and someone scrubs through the podcast looking for it.
They all fucking blend together at this point. So let's listen to some non-copyright infringing music. Actually, you know, in your defense, you played something from the fucking 20s. So yeah. But otherwise, here's some much better music. Question of the week. Noah.
Oh, what a good song. What a great song. What a good
song. I love how it just feels in your ears, you know?
Yeah. It's almost as good as Spooky Scary Skeletons.
Almost. What are we, do we want to go with? Do we want to go with the, explain the balloons for Upshur and Doff?
Yeah, I think that's my big question out of here is what's up with Upshur's voice? How does Upshur talk?
Yeah, how correct am I?
Yeah, and kind of like what does it sound like? Like if it is telepathic, what does it sound like in your head? Like is he like Lying Cat? Is he a shitty New York accent?
You know what? This is actually really convenient because I have this fancy new computer and I have all these sort of voice modulator things built in to the recording software here that I can just turn on whenever, and there hasn't been the excuse to use it. So there's literally an underwater one here. So I'm going to go ahead and use that.
Let's hear this.
How does this sound? Is this what it sounds like?
Oh my god.
And click.
Oh, that was amazing. That was a good bit. That was way better than Doot Doot.
Oh boy. So that's the question of the week. Hey Noah. This is a good. We're back in it, and I'm feeling good about it.
I'm excited to see what happens next. Let me peek ahead and see in my book what's happening next. No spoilers though.
No spoilers while looking at the spoilers.
Oh yeah. There's that. Yeah, and then that thing. Oh yeah, and Wump, definitely Wump. Forgot about Wump actually.
Oh boy, yeah. People are just jonesing for that next episode now.
Yeah, that's how I tease. That's how I keep the listeners hooked.
Welcome to the new segment every week, which is Noah feigns interest.
We should really just call this verbally shit posting about Saga.
Oh, aka it takes a universe. So where can people find you, Noah?
You can find me on Instagram at Watch Polyphonic.
Where can people block you, Noah?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Watch Polyphonic. You can find me on Facebook, I guess, at Watch Polyphonic, but mostly you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/c/polyphonic, or just look up Polyphonic. I made a video about Bob Dylan that was really cool, and I'm really proud of. So go check it out, I guess. What about you, John? I guess I should have thrown to you there. Where can people find you? And that's the end of the episode. Thanks for listening.
Let's just linger in my self pride here for a second before we move on to anything else. You know what? Yeah, there's the usual Twitter at Jonathan Oscar. There's the usual youtube.com/MakeStuffStudios. But you can also find both of us on occasion in the Horns and Wings Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Which someone actually went and made. And so I don't know how you do that. How do you find that? We have I'll keep it as the pinned tweet for another week so that people actually get a proper chance to sign up. But at some point, yeah, or we can even put that as a link within the description of the Twitter, I suppose. So we'll do all that. And as always, go answer the question of the week either on Twitter or on the YouTube video version of this very episode. And
also don't forget to follow Wash Polyphonic on Twitter.
Please, your go-to source for all the latest hippest Doot memes. Go check that out. And that's actually going to be the exclusive spot for where you can find Noah's Doot meme is at Wash Polyphonic. And now you have to make it. So go ahead and check all that out. And the Horns and Wings pod on Instagram. That has some cool stuff on there. And as always, thank you so much to Fiona Staples, Brian K. Vaughan, Photographics, Image Comics for putting this one together for us, specifically for us. That's very considerate of them. And as always, go make stuff. No, where are we ending up? How are we wrapping up this one, Noah?
I think I gotta ask the question. I gotta ask it.
Gotta ask it.
Am I shitting?
All right. Hey, leave. We're leaving. Bye.